Okay, my friends, I am just going to give you a taste of what the Earth is made out of right now, and then we're going to go way deep, because Ethiopia is absolutely unbelievable. We're going to get way, way, way deep into this. It's going to be a very long one. This is going to be fairly short, but this is really actual blood. I will show you my evidence. This is the vein part, and this is the artery part. Two different states of the iron, Fe2O2 and Fe2O3. Now, I'm going to show you this in extreme detail, and then, like I say, get all your friends, get all your relatives, tell everybody, say, look, we got to start to pay attention to reality here. We're just being spoofed. Look at this. That's black blood, which is the vein. That's the red blood. You want to see what it looks like when it's underground? Right there, there's a vein, and there's an artery. Now I'm going to show you what these tiny spheres and so forth that they're talking about. They've just been discovered. They never even knew this stuff existed. I'm not kidding you. This is all brand new research. It's time that I enter the scene and I'm able to speak about it. I have been pushed to the side and suppressed so badly that nobody knows anything about this stuff. Or it's still all a mystery. We figured everything out. No, they didn't. They just making up, concocting stories so that they can keep their status and make you walk around in circles. That's basically it now. Okay, my friends, this is a stunner du jour, shocker du jour, and all of the du jours above. This is blood falls. Nobody can ever figure out what's this doing here? Why is this all red? Why is this all black under here? Why is it flowing out into a little lake of redness? Well, they figured it out. They got it all figured out now. Let's see if they do. Okay, so what is the red effluent? Well, in 2018 and 2006, they analyzed the contents using electron microscopes, and they caught the true culprit red-handed. Well, what is it? He says, as soon as I looked at the microscope images, I noticed there were these little nanospheres, and they were iron-rich, explains materials scientist Ken Levy, who I would love to talk to, from Johns Hopkins University, which I attended for genomics. So I would like to be part of this discussion because I think I have something to add. Now don't forget, we got little iron-rich nanospheres. Okay, so these nanospheres are very tiny. Now, they're claiming that these nanospheres are 1/100th the size of human red blood cells. Well, let's look into that. They're highly abundant in the meltwaters, which was named after British scientist Thomas Griffin, who noticed these blood falls in 1910 to 1913 expedition. Now, listen to this. This is important, because if you're a chemist and a biochemist and a geologist and all of that, which I am, I understand this very well. The iron-rich, along with the iron, the nanospheres also contain silicon, aluminum, and sodium. And I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff that they didn't mention, but this unique composition is part of what turns the briny subglacial water red as it slips off the glacier tongue and meets a world of oxygen, sunlight, and warmth for the first time in a long time. Now, in order to be a mineral, atoms must be arranged in an exact specific way, and they create crystals, mineral crystals. Now, these nanospheres are not crystalline. They're not crystals. So the methods previously used to examine the solids did not detect them. Well, let me show you what they do look like in their electron microscopes in a living creature, because I'm going to tell you right now, this, my friends, is biology. This is not what they're talking about. Let me show you what exists in the biology, and then I'm going to show you other places on Earth. Biology is extremely evident, and on Mars as well. And they talk about going to Mars, and we never can figure anything out because we don't have the kind of microscopes they can have on here, and so forth. Well, you don't have to have a microscope to see the life on Mars. It's so evident, it's unbelievable that it's not been spoken about. And the only reason is because it goes against everything they have said, and they will always figure a way to portray it in their own light because it degrades their importance. Now don't forget, you see this? You see that lump right there? I know exactly what that is. And that right there is red blood. All right, so this is your newfound organ. And what is in that newfound organ? Well, inside of that tissue is, where if I can find it, right here. Inside that tissue is the nanospheres. That's what they're finding. Is these tiny, you see what they are? This is where that bullet is right there. This is the layers of skin on the membrane. They never knew it was that way. And this is those nanospheres they're talking about coming out in the blood. They're much smaller than blood cells. Now, what is the interstitium right here? They never knew it. By the time they saw it, it was like as flat as a pancake. It was just a little flat strip. And if you look at membranes right now, they'll say there's an upper layer and a lower layer. That's incorrect. Well, I'm not saying it's incorrect. It's not fully illustrative of what the whole deal is. There's all this stuff in between the layers, which are all this interstitium. And it ends up containing all these little balls and fluid-filled highway. See the white spot? That's the fluid-filled highway. That's where all the stuff is flowing. And these are the size of the creatures on Earth that were here. These balls, you see that? This is what they are right here. That's those balls. This is a blow-up of them. All right? Here it is here on Huntington Beach, or cliffs or whatever in the United Kingdom. These are those balls. They're tough. They're hard. Here they are. These are the Moki marbles out in Utah and Arizona and all that. All right. Now what happens is the red flesh erodes and the balls come out of it because they're tough. Those are the things that stretch back and forth. Shown this literally 1,000 times. And that's what gives your body go this way, go that way, and it's all supposed to come back to wherever those balls are anchored. Once all the fleshy stuff, the real gooey stuff, turns into mud, what you're left with is the ball sitting on the basement layer of your skin. You see that? That's the size of the blood cells. That's inside of a vein, artery, I'm sorry. Where it's dark blood, it's blue in the body, and it's black in mud fossils. This is an artery, and those are all blood cells and other fluids moving through your body. It's squirting those things through. And where do they go? Well, let me show you something. Okay, so let's take an electron microscope look at what an artery looks like and what blood vessels look like that bring the blood from the artery, the main feeder, down to all the other places, and then they go through the blood vessels, the littler ones, and then they get into the capillaries, and then it squirts it into the black part. So what would happen if right here was underwater and this was a glacier? This would squirt out over the top of a black surface. Do you agree? I see that. That's exactly what would happen. Now, this is, like I say, an artery, and these are the veins. These are the capillaries, and you can see there's a distinct separation to where they come down, and then you actually break into the capillaries, which restrict the blood. This is where your blood pressure is created down here. How tiny they get restricts the all right, so now that's I'm saying right here is what I'm talking about would happen if this right here went underwater. That red blood would flow over the top and you would have a black layer underneath. Is exactly what you have. And where is this? This is in the desert in Morocco, or somewhere in that area, and this is the giant fish right there. So to have blood falls pushing blood out and have that black layer underneath, and know that there was creatures this size, and I cannot account for it, so don't assault me for this. This really annoys the hell out of me. Well, it's there. What do you want me to say? And the same thing with blood falls. Now, if you got a kid that's got a goldfish tank, he knows what a fish looks like. This is it. That's his fin. And he was attacked by a dragon. And if you got a kid will know what a dragon is too, because they can see these things that smart people can't see. That's the dragon's head. And that's his neck that runs all the way down. I'm going to show you some more blood because his throat was cut, as is written in the ancient text and he has his red flaring eye and all that fluty looking stuff that goes down the side of dragons in the parades. So now he's attacking the fish. The fish is obviously dead. It's a dragon. Looks like he's pretty dead to me too. And it goes all the way down here. Now remember I told you his throat was cut and we had red blood coming out? Red blood is right here. This is red blood. Well, guess what else red blood does? It makes things grow green, even in the desert. You see that? And his throat is still continuing to bleed out now. That's why you have all this red blood. This is all red blood. This stuff grows like crazy in iron-rich blood. Well, there's a lot of nitrogen in it too. But it said in the ancient text, they cut his throat. And that's blood bleeding all over. And these are dragon scales. All right, now, you got Google Earth. I've shown this literally 1,000 times. Never had one question from anybody that was an authority about this stuff. Not a question. No response whatsoever. So we know what we're up against. Nobody cares for the truth where you're being taught. Now, I've even found the lymph nodes. Well, here they are right there. There's the lymph nodes. You come up here and look at it. And if you're a doctor, you should be able to see this. A lymph node is no mysterious thing. Here it is right here. You see this? This is lymph. The red blood is red. The black blood is vein blood. I mean, artery blood is red. The black blood is vein blood. And the pinky looking stuff is lymph. And here it is, all that nasty stuff coming down to try to be absorbed by this lymph node. The lymph node can't absorb it. It's dead. That's why it turns black and bubbled up over the top of the surface. That's not supposed to happen. They're supposed to be underneath. And look at them. They're trying to eat up all that toxin coming at them. They can't do it. That toxin coming down here from the dragon is this toxin here. They can't absorb all that. Now, we're going to get very, very, very deep into this because this goes not just the biology and the chemistry and that we don't know anything about what we've been taught. It's just nothing but absolute nonsense. At this point, history's wrong, geology's wrong. What's in space is actually coming out of space, has blood in the rocks coming out of space, which are not rocks, they're body parts. Shown this extensively. Dragons were real. Giants were real. Mine are DNA tested and certified in every single way. Since 2015, I've had all of this information, presented it to everybody, nobody cares. So it's time for us to take reality in our own hands. Right? Wouldn't you agree? I think so. I just showed you biology on steroids. All right, you see that? And the only reason we can see this is because all the toxins ate through the scales. This is not an accident. I can't believe, and you know, I present this to all doctors and everything. Oh, who knows? They won't say anything. Now, I have some friends, they understand, there's no question. But again, they're in the midst of academia, and to speak up about something like this is verboten, is what they used to say in Nazi Germany. Verboten. And that's what we have right now. Okay, my friends, I know that statement about verboten is a little harsh, but it is basically true. Ben Stein just did a video not too long ago called Expelled. Every teacher that talks about creation or anything other than what they're told to say, out you go. Biden should give the money back to the students. Yes, the colleges should be the ones that give the money back. They should all spit it back. And even the people that were educated before, since 2015, it's all been lies. It's all been total lies. I have presented the evidence for accelerating light. I have presented all of the mud fossil evidence. I've been talking about everything. And if Biden wants to do something for the students, the colleges should be the ones that pay. They, as far as I'm concerned, fiduciary failure is their obligation. They supposed to act in the best interest of the students so that the students can make more money and get a good job. Instead, they're taking advantage of the students, dictating to them what they have to say, not allowing them to even speak up. The kids are scared to death to talk to their professors, and rightfully so. President Biden, give the money back. I agree. Get the Supreme Court to talk to the academics. Why won't they allow truth? Why are they suppressing truth? That is fiduciary failure and academic fraud. I looked it up, and plagiarism. I put that stuff out in 2015 or way before that. I did all the things that Yale asked me to do, and they refused to engage. And now they're taking credit for it. So, President Biden, it's time you step up. I hear you talking. But let's see if you can engage with the big boys, because they are big and they are tough and they dictate. And right now, the things I say, verboten. And I don't think that's harsh at all, because it's absolutely true. Okay, President Biden, here's what I put out in February 8th of 2016 in an extreme amount of frustration. It was called Mud Fossils and Velikovsky and Minds in Collision. And that's because they had collided. Their minds could not accept the truth, and they still can't, because all they're interested in is self-interest. Is the only thing I can tell you. This is only 99 cents. 99 cents. This was my original work that had always gone all the way up to CAT scans and DNA testing and all that stuff submitted to Yale, and then, again, they took credit for it. Hold on a second. Here's their paper. And this is the guy I was working with, Derek Briggs. I was trying to present over and over. You need this, you need this, you need this. And we did it all. And now, a year later, 2016, in November, they put this article out about this. Well, here's the title. It's pretty obvious. Exceptional preservation of soft body. This just means creatures promoted by silica-rich oceans. What created the silica? They don't know. They have no idea. It says they have no idea. It says, yet how the fossils are preserved remains controversial. No, they don't have any clue whatsoever, and they don't want to know. Consistent of exceptionally preserved soft body forms of enigmatic hormology, fucking and infinity. What the hell ever does that mean? They're mud fossils. This is what annoys me. All of this, it was a rapid precipitation, silica-rich, high silica-saturated oceans. That's a gigantic worldwide flood. You ever hear that? I doubt it. I didn't even know they wrote this paper until about 6 months ago. Whoa. They did agree with my stuff, only they're taking credit for it now and not giving me any credit and not making it widely available. As far as I'm concerned, I have been making it widely available, but when they won't support you, everybody thinks you're crazy, because I'm making statements that are just, they are crazy sounding. But you just saw the evidence. If you didn't see the evidence, then that's your problem. I have presented it. And again, I did the study on the blood, and the giants seem to have no different size in the blood than the little tiny guys. So these are these tiny little macroscopic nano balls that they're finding in the blood falls. Now I'm going to go so deep into like Ethiopia and all. Ethiopia is just stunning. What you're going to see there. You can see the islets of Langerhans and everything else. They're right on the surface. All right, and well, anyway, that's going to be the deep dive. If there's any interest, I'm not finding a whole lot of interest. I keep putting this stuff up, and I get a few thousand hits, but that's it. Yeah, and I see all these people putting up a dog jumping, doing something I don't know, crazy, and they got 1 million hits. Anyway, very frustrating. I love you all. Okay, like I said, I have all the evidence to support what I say. That's the pili erector muscle. That is the sebaceous gland. That is the root of the hair. That is the vein and artery. That, my friends, is a hair follicle from a very large creature. Erector pili muscle. Hair stands up on end. Sebaceous gland oils the hair. All right. Okay, light accelerating, Higgs fields, we actually created fission and fusion by breaking apart the white and the black particles here, turning them into just sterile muons and electron showers. So there's your physics for you. And the new theory is electron flood theory, which says that the core of every atom is a dipole. It's not just one big positive or neutral particles in there. They're all dipoles, and they make a big ball that creates resistance to more attraction. So that's why you get your orbitals. And it changes everything in the periodic chart. Completely changes. They have isotopes. Isotopes are only a few little particles off. But it's just one big ball of particles. It's just, the standard model's wrong. It's dipole electron flood theory. Again, not allowed to speak about this. Fermilab calls me a tinfoil hat guy. And this is exactly the particles they're looking for. Now, I think President Biden should talk to them. Why are they not allowing this? It's their obligation to the taxpayers to do the best they can. And that is not the case. These are the particles that CERN and Fermilab found. Tiniest particles that exist. One of them is just a fixed particle. The other one goes, this is it from light. Now they use, bam, and they get just big, huge proton dust. And then they dig through it and they find a zoo of little particles. But these are the tiniest ones that exist. We found them in light. This is light. This is a photon. This is it right here. You see the glowy ones? It's exactly what they say. That one gets glowy and this one never changes. Exactly correct. And what did we do with them? We created fission and fusion, which they've been trying to do for a bazillion years. And here's a muon going on its own, called a sterile muon, the black ball. And the white ball turns into a shower called an electron shower. We accelerated light. We can speed up light even in atmosphere. This isn't even a vacuum. We're accelerating this in the atmosphere. Rod Warren did this work with me almost 10 years ago. So here we go, this was back in 2015, 2016, right in that area. And I presented it to everybody. I presented it to all of them. I even went to the University of Geneva online, and I presented it to the professors there, and they didn't discount it, but they didn't do anything with it either. So let's, all I'm saying is it's time to hold the educators to account. Right now it's a dictatorship, absolute dictatorship. If you step up and you're in that realm, you're either removed or you are failed. So the professors that are in their realm are not allowed to speak. The students that are in the realm are not allowed to speak. Does that sound like education to you? Not to me. President Biden, make him pay the money back.